Welcome back to another edition. I know you have all anticipated and waiting for this edition of Hanging with the Howards. I'm, of course, Brian, joined us alongside my gorgeous wife. What is that, TT? What do they call you now?
Tish is fine.
Tish is fine. Yes, yes. Welcome to another wonderful edition. And again, we just want to take this opportunity to thank our loyal listeners, dedicated followers. I don't know how many times we have been stopped, whether we're at an athletic event or on the street even, and
Correct.
ask, when are we going to do another episode? So, yes, here is the other new episode, obviously. But again, we just want to take that time to thank you all
Yes.
for following along.
Yes. Thank you all for all of your support and encouragement. Some days we're like, what are we going to do? We need to do a podcast, but we're just so tired, so overwhelmed. But, our loyal listeners will always encourage us and say, hey, it's time for another one. So
Absolutely.
we have to do what the people want.
Absolutely. And when you talk about encouragement, this is what I need right here, some whiskey. That is all the encouragement I need. Shout out to whiskey right here. Any kind of whiskey would be great. Christmas is coming up. I obviously would take some Southern Comfort. Shout out, shameless plug there to Southern Comfort, who is not paying a dime, by the way, to this wonderful podcast. I
Right.
am still upset. We still have not gotten an NIL deal.
Yeah, it's been a while. You've been asking for that for a while.
I certainly have. So
You have your liquid encouragement. I have animal crackers
yeah.
and water.
Anyways, how old are you? Anyways,
Hey,
once again,
kid at heart.
once again, guys never ask a woman their age. So,
I don't mind,
well,
but
all
I'm not
right.
gonna say it. But I don't mind.
Oh, well, you just left them hanging right there. But no, we want to delve in. We had such a long stretch of November. I can't believe we're still in November. To be
We're
honest with
like
you,
literally only in the middle of November,
it's November
and
still.
a lot of stuff has happened.
Absolutely. And I mean, first and foremost, we got to go all the way back in the time machine to October and Halloween. And,
Hmm.
for me, Halloween is simply just another day. And for you, you had a little bit of an event as well.
Yeah, Halloween was actually fun. We're actually in a neighborhood now, so we had bought some candy, hoping that some of the kids would stop by, and we ended up having about 20 to 30 kids to stop by. But after about the first hour and a half, it started raining. So we had gone a whole month here with no rain, and it rained on Halloween.
Well, if there is an appropriate holiday where it would rain, Halloween is it. Just look at all the movies that
Mm,
are out there that deal with Halloween and it raining, especially Halloween, and of course, the legend of all legends in a hockey mask, Friday
oh,
the
yeah,
13th.
that's true.
Yes. It was not Friday the 13th, though, it was Halloween.
Yeah, yeah. So I was pleased. I had my little angel costume on, and a couple of the kids commented how they liked it. So,
How appropriate. An angel costume.
well,
An angel wearing an angel.
oh, that's sweet. That is sweet.
There's a little devil
I'll
in
leave it
that.
at that. Okay. But we did have some trick or treaters, so I was happy that the kids stopped by, and I'm glad that we're in a neighborhood now that we can actually participate, in something for the kids. So we had a good Halloween.
Yeah, we certainly did. I had an event that I had to be at on Halloween, and I hate the fact that I did not have
Mhm.
that particular opportunity to hand out candy
Yeah,
to the young little lads,
it was fun.
those children. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I was upset, but at the same time, I'm glad you had that experience.
It was nice. It was fun.
Yeah. So now we've hit the end of October. Now we're in November. I say, wake me up when November ends, because I've had an extremely busy already first half of
Hmm.
November. And what started really everything was the election. There was an
Right.
election that went on. Did you know
There
that?
was an election.
A- a-
Boy, was it.
Anyways, so yeah, there was an election that happened. It was a pretty big one, obviously.
Mhm.
And not to get too much into the election stuff, but my wife is a huge election analyst, huge, right? And so I come home on election day from work a little early, but having the opportunity to take in what is about to be an insane night of results, right? And I'm sitting down. We had just ate dinner, and I said, "All right, well, I'm about to take my shower." Now, keep in mind, we have the TV on CNN.
Have to have it on CNN
Have to have it on
during
CNN.
election time.
And all of a sudden, I get up to take a shower, and what did you say to me?
I told him there is no way he can take his shower without hearing the first projection. That is my favorite part. I literally watch CNN during election time just for the projection. Now, I was a little bit, well, I was a lot, very, I guess
She
that's
was
probably. I was
absolutely.
very disappointed because I haven't really watched CNN. I normally watch it pretty heavy during the election cycle. So, it's been a few years. I did not realize that Wolf
Woof!
was not on CNN
No,
anymore.
that's
I was so disappointed because he's the only one to me that can say we have a projection.
well,
And so I still wanted to see the projections, but it just wasn't the same without Wolf being on CNN. But you know,
no,
I still wanted to see him.
no, you're 100% right. It wasn't the same, but when those first projections came out, and Mr. Orange led Kamala 8-3, I only could to muster up that Mr. Orange had scored a touchdown and added a 2-point conversion on that. While
Wow.
meanwhile Kamala's camp and the Democrats only were able to muster up a field goal. So my mindset wasn't really on the election. My
Right.
mindset's on football season
It was
and
a football
uh,
analogy pretty much
absolutely.
the whole
Absolutely.
night. So
Absolutely. It was a slobber knocker of an election.
what is that?
A slobber knocker, a butt kicking, whooping.
Oh, gotcha. Never
I
heard
mean,
of
that's
that.
a wrestling term.
You call me country. A slobber knocker? Okay then.
That's a wrestling term.
Oh, okay.
Jim Ross used to say back in the Attitude Era when Stone Cold Steve Austin would come out and say, "Oh, it's about to be a slobber knocker." That's how he would say it.
Oh,
Actually,
gotcha.
I can't really do Jr. very well. However, I can do Mike
Oh
Tyson
no. Okay, we'll skip to that to the end.
to the end.
Hopefully he'll
Absolutely.
forget.
I hope I don't forget that we called old timers. But anyways, no, it's been a busy schedule, and then delving for me into not just the election, but then having basketball, men's and
Mhm.
women's basketball. We have played, a couple days after the election. We're playing, a doubleheader. You got Oakwood with the men and number 24 Alabama with the women.
Mhm.
So that Thursday was very, very long, and then Friday hopping on an airplane, and for me, flying to Little Rock and having the opportunity, small opportunity over that weekend to see one of our daughters.
Mhm. And I hate I missed that trip, but at least he got a chance to see to see our daughter.
I didn't
I
see
was
much
kind of
of her,
sad. She's on
man.
the move now.
No, no, she on the move now. You ain't lying. I mean, if you lying, I'm buying, and I ain't lying. So I ain't buying. But no, so yeah, that and then the following week we literally had home events Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
With football being on a Thursday night against Grambling State, it just made for a long week. We had stat issues on that Monday, and then Tuesday we had an end of the game stat issue that happened, and Wednesday seemed to go fine, and Thursday was the football game, and for me it's always great when we play Grambling State, right?
Mhm.
I spent 4 total years there, 2 different stints at Grambling, and I have a lot of respect um, for the Grambling community. So no matter what, it was going to be a win-win for me, right?
Mhm.
And it didn't look pretty early on. We trailed 17-3, but it looked great at the end when we won 22-17. So either way, I was going to win. But it's always great seeing people that you love
Right.
and everything, not just the camaraderie of the game, but then you have Curtis Ford, who was a former assistant under me. Dr. Travion Scott, Taylor Stewart, Sheree Kirkland. So it was great seeing those people. Morgan Adams. I could go on and on about just
Mhm.
how much respect I have for Grambling State, but it made for a long time. Meanwhile, you were trying to stay awake.
Yes, I try to support, as much as I can. It's just the two of us here. And so, I would get off work and, I had some other projects going on as well after work. So after I got done with everything, I would head, over to watch the games. And by the time Thursday came, I was, you know, kind of trying to cover my face a little bit so I can take a nap during the game. But it didn't quite work out, the nap, but it just made for a long week, but it was a good week. Everything had a few hiccups here and there, some technical issues, but overall it was a good week. But I try to go to all the games, I go to as many as I can. So it was very busy, but pretty good week.
Now, when you say you had a good week, I think I would give you an
Oh
A
yes.
for a week because you didn't just have a good week. You had the opportunity to not one, but two times take photos with your celebrity crushes, I guess you could say.
Well, yeah. Yeah. If you want to put it that way.
I mean, Mr. Olympian, Dr. Travion Scott. Let's be honest here. You got them little crushes going on.
So there is a guy. He was Mr. Alabama. And I first came in contact with him because I think he sponsored one of the Jazz on the Terrace events. And so, his picture was up on on the whatever you call it, not the scoreboard, but what do you call it?
The video
The
board.
video board. Okay, so his picture was up there, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's Mr. Alabama." So that was a few months ago. So since then, every time I see him, I was like, "Oh, there's Mr. Alabama and everything." But since then, he's become Mr. Universe.
Mr. Universe.
So I was on the elevator with him. I think homecoming, and I said, "Oh, hey, Mr. Alabama." He was like, "Yeah, that's Mr. Universe now." I was like, "Wow," you know. So I would just kind of mention, "Hey, I saw Mr. Universe." And so after the next 2 or 3 times, he comes to all the games and everything. So Wednesday, he was
Yes.
at the game.
Wednesday he was at the game, and I just happened to be coming out of our little hospitality suite at halftime, and I saw him getting ready to go to the restroom, and I stopped him. Actually, he was coming out of the restroom, and I stopped him, and I said, "Hey," we started chatting it up a little bit, and I said, "Hey, what are you doing after the game?" And he said, "I'm leaving." And I said, "Well, would you mind?" I said, "My wife's got a crush
And,
on you."
and I don't know why he said that. 'Cause of course, I was so embarrassed by the time
Ah,
I saw him.
it's all good. You need that. You need that love and joy and happiness. You got it right there. Obviously, he started
Mhm.
cracking up, laughing. I'm cracking up. He stopped by the scores table after we got a picture with him. So, uh, anything I can do to help and brighten your day, I'm certainly going to do that.
I appreciate it. That was a very touching moment for me. I got my picture taken with Mr. Universe. So.
Absolutely. And, the week itself kind of culminated on Friday. We had home volleyball, but I was able to get home in time to watch the debacle that was Netflix, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's such a huge topic. I mean, you had over 190 countries watching the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, right?
Oh
And,
God, I already hear
and,
your voice changing. I already know what's getting ready to happen.
and so I mean that's a lot of people, and I know a lot of people that may have been watching had buffering issues, right? But one thing that they did not miss was one Mike Tyson's butt. Uh,
Yes. I don't know what that
I
was.
have no clue whatsoever. All
Which
right,
it wasn't for, I must say, for someone who was what, 58,
58.
it wasn't a bad looking butt. I mean,
I mean,
it still had its shape.
I'll let you be the
You
verdict on that.
know,
I'm good.
I'm just saying, for a person his age, he still got it.
and then afterwards, the poor man was hanging. I mean, he was hanging. I mean, by a thread. Okay, Jake Paul is lucky he didn't knock him out. To be honest with you. But one thing in particular about Mike Tyson is throughout the whole 6, 8 rounds. I think it was 8 rounds, right? He would like try and bite his glove or whatever. So
Hmm.
Ariel Helwani, who does a lot of UFC, he's involved in UFC, and all the interviews and everything. So he's interviewing Iron Mike afterwards, and he asks him, were you having problems with your mouthpiece, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, duh. And Mike's like, nah, and he's like, well, you were biting your glove, and is there a reason why? And dead serious, he says, and I kid you not, this is the most hilarious. I don't care how many quotes I've heard in my entire life. This might be the best one. He literally says, "Nah, man, I got a biting fixation, man. I got a biting fixation." Say what, Mike? You got a biting fixation? No, no way.
That was the worst possible thing he could have ever said.
I'm like, well, if you got a biting fixation, why didn't you just bite his ear? I mean, I don't get it. Anyways, I
Given the
digress.
history, that was the worst possible thing he could have said.
Yeah, I
That's Mike.
that's Iron Mike for you there. I still would not, mess with the baddest man
No,
on the planet.
no,
But
he did good for his age.
he
As long as it
definitely
wasn't a
did.
knockout, he did good. He did
So
really good.
so that brings us to getting ready for the holidays and the anxieties that go with the holidays.
Mhm.
Tish, you have some really good favorite holidays. Mine are always past. Mine is, Valentine's Day, probably St. Patrick's Day is in there too, and
Mhm.
Easter. I love Easter, but you got Thanksgiving and you got Christmas. Talk a little bit about the anxiety that goes with these holidays.
Well, my favorite holiday is Christmas. I like Thanksgiving too, just because our families always get together. But Christmas is like my ultimate favorite holiday. Um, Little different this year. Um, we're all like my family. We're used to like being all together. Pretty much. Most holidays. Now my brother during Thanksgiving, they kind of split Thanksgiving and Christmas or whatever. But this year for Thanksgiving, it's going to be a little different because I started a new job, so the staffing's a little bit different. I'm used to kind of making my own schedules, being off here, being off there when I want to. Well, this job is a little bit different, so I'm not going to get a chance to go home for Thanksgiving this year, and so I'm kind of, makes me kind of sad, but at the same time the girls are not going to be there
Right.
either because Jasmine's they're still in California. My other daughter, Shanna, she's growing up, so she's making her own
Her own plans.
plan. So she's not going to be at home either this year. So Thanksgiving for me this year is going to be a little, it's going to be a bummer because this will be the first time that I haven't been around, a majority of my family for Thanksgiving. Christmas should be better or will be better. Everybody should get together, during the Christmas holiday. For me, it may be a little bit shorter than I want, but hopefully it won't be. But just some anxieties because things are changing. It's
Absolutely.
like a family. Everybody kind of have their, own thing going on and different time constraints and stuff like that. So there have been some increased anxieties, holiday anxieties this year. We normally last year we went to Florida for New Year's. I went to Arkansas for Christmas, Florida for New Year's. But this year there's a game like January 2nd,
January 2nd. Yeah.
and so it would kind of be a rush, even though we could have made it work, but it was going to pretty much be a rush to get to both places. So we're going to be going to Florida in June.
Florida in June.
Um, so it's just just the differences. the changes, and they're not necessarily bad changes, but like kids grow up, they have their own thing going on. So you just kind of, as a parent, you just kind of expect like everything to like stay the same. In my mind, the girls are still like they're not little, but
Right.
they're still like girls to me, but they're
Absolutely.
actually women now. So you just kind of get used to having those moments.
Right.
And like I said, Christmas should be about the same, except for our new addition.
Absolutely.
That should make it fun. But Thanksgiving this year is gonna be a little hard for me, but you know
Well,
we'll make it work.
I think what makes it difficult for Thanksgiving is the fact that for me, I got to be on the road.
Hmm.
Um, I'm used to, all right, football season for the most part is already over with,
Hmm.
and that's not the case. Due to Hurricane Helene, we were set to play Florida A&M at the end of September, and now we're playing them on the Friday after Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
that kind of jacked up a lot of plans for even myself, and then
Hmm.
having a home men's basketball game. Excuse me, having it on that Saturday, even more so jacks things up because my ideal plan was all right for Thanksgiving we'd be able to go to my parents in
Hmm.
Florida, come back, and we'd have Christmas at your family. But then with your work schedule and everything, and you just starting a new job, that we weren't able to get those days off. You weren't able to get all those days off. So in reality, it does create a Christmas creates a little bit of a log jam and an issue, but um, those things happen.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, obviously, I would love to be with my family and see my family and spend Christmas in Florida, of course. The weather generally is great at that time of the year. So but June it is. So the holidays do bring that anxiety. Of course, we would love to please everybody, and sometimes you just can't please everybody.
Yeah.
You
That's
know.
true.
But yeah, and the funny part is we still got what like 10, 11 more days left in this month.
Yeah. It's just middle of the month, pretty
Yeah,
much.
I mean, so November is one of those crazy months,
Hmm.
and everything. And for me, I get anxiety at this time of the year because I simply don't know what to buy my own wife for Christmas. Right? She just wants $1 million, and I told her,
Or a sugar daddy, either one. I told
"Oh,
him
I
I
can
can I
find
could
you a
do
sugar
either
daddy.
one.
I can find you one." He's in Texas. I told him he's in
No, he's
Texas.
already taken. I want
Oh,
I
he
want
ain't
my
taking
own
it.
sugar
He
daddy.
likes some other kind of relationship. That's beside the point. But no,
No.
seriously. So yeah, it brings a lot of anxiety for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure for a lot of people, it's the same way. For us, it's pretty much more of just the dynamics of it all, like where we're going to be, how long we're going to be there, stuff like that. But for others, there's other anxieties that that are a lot worse. I guess, for lack of a better word, there are a lot of people dealing with a loss of loved ones.
Absolutely.
People are dealing with a lot of issues. So for us, in the grand scheme of things, we look at dynamics and all of this stuff, but people are dealing with a lot worse than dynamics. So
Absolutely.
I don't want to complain.
I will.
I yeah, you will, but I'm not gonna complain. I will be sad, come Thanksgiving, come Thanksgiving, if I'm here by myself. But you know, like I said, it could be worse. So there are a lot of other anxieties that people have that a lot deeper and a lot worse than just where we're gonna be or whatever. So you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, and I mean, we're thankful to have our health and obviously for us to have this new house and
hmm
see our kids grow up course, the little one. You
Yes.
know, that I think he sees more of you than me. So
He sees
he,
you every
he
day.
don't see me every
Yes,
day.
he does.
But see, this is how it is every night in the house. Right? David, I tell you right, man, I eat him. I eat his children, man. I'm not
Whatever.
Tyson, man.
Whatever.
Anyway,
Where did that even come
I
from?
don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
But
Lord. That means it's time for us to sign off because I
absolutely,
think the liquid courage is kicking in. So, well,
absolutely. But before we sign off,
what?
I have a little Christmas music that I wanted to play. I want a lot for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
I can't sing this song alone, so I had to get Mariah Carey, not McDonald's, but Mariah Carey.
Really?
Oh yeah, she wanted
You
it.
could just ruin the moment.
I just want you all for my own.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
I knew something was coming. I should have known. I
Yeah.
should have known.
Well, I always got a lot of stuff up my sleeve.
Yes,
So
you do.
but no, seriously, we look forward to our next episode. I'm not exactly sure what we'll delve into or talk about. I'm sure we got a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
So please stay tuned. Again, we thank everybody for tuning in,
Mhm.
whether it's YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I do want to give one shout out to one guy in particular, Nick Kuzman from Fox 54. He like legitimately asks every time I see him, "Hey, when is the next episode of Hanging with the Howards coming out?" And I said, "Well, soon, I hope." But last week was certainly not a good week to do a podcast. So just a big shout out, Nick. Thank you for always listening. And until next time, everything is always worth the wait. Bye, Felicia.
Oh, see you next time.